Hi, my name is Ishaan Arora, and in this video, I'm going to walk through the changes I made to my LinkedIn profile after watching LinkedIn Learning for Students on LinkedIn Learning. As I go, I'll show the exact part of the course that I recommended the change, and then I'll show how I applied it to my profile with a before and after comparison. So let's start with, all right, so first thing you see on a profile is the profile picture. In the course, the instructor says it's usually the first thing people notice, and that profiles with the profile picture get around 20 times more views and interactions compared to profiles with no photo. They also explain you don't need a professional headshot, but it should be sharp, well lit, and look professional, like what you'd wear to work. So for my update, here's the before picture, and I updated it to a more recent and a more professional looking picture. So I updated it to be more clear and that matches the tone I want recruiters and professionals in finance and insurance to see. And I made sure the photo looks recent because the course also mentions you should update it once in a while so people can actually recognize you. Moving on to the next part, right after the profile photo, the course recommends adding a background image because it helps your profile stand out and communicates personality and profession. They also mention keeping it professional, and they gave like a certain rubric of what the ideal size of the photo should be, and then suggested tools like Canva or VistaCreate to design one. So before, my profile had no background picture. It was like an empty profile. I use Canva to generate a picture that shows my relevant experience that I have, so it kind of reflects my background. And then another extra improvement that I made, which isn't in the video, but it improves credibility. So I verified my profile. Before, I wasn't verified, and now I have the verification badge, which helps build trust when someone lands on my page. Next is my headline. The course says this is one of the first things people read, and it shouldn't just be default like student at Nate, for example, line. Um, they recommend doing three different things. Say what you're doing, add something where you're passionate or what direction you're heading, include relevant keywords without stuffing it too much. So before, my headline just said certified insurance agent at Bella Direct and finance student at Nate. But after that, I made it a little bit more concise. I added finance student, insurance and risk professional, and driven to build smarter financial futures. It's clearer, more intentional, and includes keywords that match what I want to be found for. Next, moving on. After the headline, the course highlights the About section as extremely important, and they say not to skip it at all. They explain the About section should show achievements, mission, career objectives, and aspirations, include personality, connect with the reader, and include keywords to improve search visibility. They also point out something specific. LinkedIn only shows the first 3 or 4 lines, so those lines need to capture attention. So here's what my before section looks like, before about section looks like. And then in the before, it was more general, focus on retail, and it didn't really tell my story in finance and insurance. Now here's my updated about section. I rewrote it to be more targeted to what I'm building right now: finance, insurance, risk, and client-facing work. And I made sure the opening lines communicate what I do and where I'm going. And just like the course example, I added areas of expertise at the bottom here. That lets me include keywords in a clean way without making the section feel stuffed. And next, after the About section, it will be the experience. The course says even if you're a student, you should add experience that shows your work ethic and skill set, internships, part-time jobs, anything that supports the image you're building. They also give a power tip. Don't just list the job, add a description with bullet points, and if possible, include objective impact. So here's my before experience section. And on the left-hand side is the after. I added clear bullet points under roles like Bel Direct and Cal4X, focusing on client service, compliance, and problem solving, the parts that actually translate to finance and risk-based opportunities. And after that, we have the education section. The course says education is extra important for students and it shouldn't be boring or default. They recommend adding what you're studying, and you can include activities, honors, and other meaningful details. So for my education section, I made sure it clearly shows I'm a NATE student enrolled in BBA Finance and the expected timeline. And I also kept my previous diploma listed. The goal was to make it immediately clear what I'm studying and align with the finance insurance direction in my headline and the about section. And next is the license and certifications. The course talks about adding additional sections that showcase accomplishments, and they also specifically mention any licensing and certifications as one of the recommended add-ons. So here's what I added and clean up in this section. In the after, you can see my relevant credentials like my insurance licensing and CPR or first aid. These support trust, credibility, and especially in client-facing industries. Okay. And the course is very direct about skills. They say they used to think it was optional, but now they believe adding skills is an important step because it helps opportunities and people actually find you. They also say don't get passed over because you didn't list a skill you actually have. So in my profile, I expanded and refined my skills list. In the before, it wasn't as complete. I only had 49 skills listed there. And in the after, I built it out so it matches the jobs I'm targeting, like finance, insurance, customer service, analysis, and relationship building. The course also recommends using additional sections strategically, not adding everything, but adding what strengthens your story. One of the examples they mention is courses. So I added my key NATE courses that support what I'm positioning for, like advising for finance professionals and for business and its environment. So someone viewing my profile can quickly see what I'm learning and how I connect to this direction. And two more sections I added and kept visible are honors and awards and languages. The course lists both of these as valuable options for students because they help you stand out even if you don't have tons of industry experience yet. So in my after version, you can see leader of the quarter, and you can also see my languages such as English, Hindi, Punjabi, and other languages that I just listed, which support professional communication and relationship building. And on the right side here, the course explains your public profile is often what appears on Google if someone searches your name, and they show how to adjust visibility and customize your public profile setting. So I reviewed my public profile settings and made sure my LinkedIn URL is clean and professional because that's what I'd share on resumes and applications. All right. So overall, my biggest takeaway from the course is that LinkedIn words like a searchable professional profile. So small changes like a stronger headline, a better about section, and a complete skills list can change how discoverable you are and how credible you look in the first 10 seconds. Comparing my before and after, my profile now tells a clearer story. Finance student, insurance and risk focus, real experience and proof through skills, courses, and credentials. Overall, the profile feels more intentional and not just filled out, and I think it better matches the kind of roles and connections I'm aiming for. Thank you.